Hello everyone, I hope you are well today. I thought we would do a brief healing and meditation with the elements, and I thought that I would take you on a walk to a place that I know very well. There was an integral part of my spiritual awakening, and it is a place called Dorset on the south coast of England. And my family had a home probably around here in a place called Swanage, and I would walk up the hill because this is very high, and along here, this green belt, this green field here. Sometimes I would wander in the wild wood of bent and gnarled trees, and I would quite often just lie down on the grass here and just rest, enjoy all of the elements. Further back this way, there is a labyrinth that has been marked out with chalk stones. You can see all the chalk in the cliffs. So that can be walked as well, and I would often come up here and watch the sunrise about 4 o'clock in the morning and start to hear all the bird movement, because we have all of the seagulls, but we also have hawks that fly along looking for the nests, kites, buzzards, all of those hunting birds. And it is very busy. You can see a sailing ship there, and it's in a very special part of the world. So I'm going to put that down now, just sort of get that in your mind and settle yourself down. I'm going to use some of the thyme oil that I have today, because on these pastures there will be wild mountain thyme. So I'm just going to put that on my hands. And just breathe in. Let it clear you, let it elevate you. And then breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. And one last time, breathe in. And breathe out. Okay. So let's start in the town of Swanage. So you've all come to meet me. You've parked in the car park where day trippers park. You've got your ticket. You've got your walking sticks, your boots and your flask, whatever you need. And I'm going to say, follow me. And we're going to walk up a little bridle pathway. And we're walking up towards a farmhouse between the paddocks of horses and sheep. And as you start to walk, I want you to ground in, and as you walk past trees, I just want you to look directly at the trunk and then follow the trunk into the ground. And imagine those roots of that tree reaching outwards and downwards, and feel your own also spreading out from your feet as well. And with every step, ground this meditation and healing into your system. Just state the intent of grounding in the healing in a physical way. Okay. And do we just keep walking? We walk past this farmhouse now. It's a painted farmhouse of yellow with a slate roof, and the slate will look something like this. And we keep walking, and now the path starts to ascend quite steeply as well. So work those muscles in your legs as I just clear. I'm going to take the rattle shake it off. Shake the worry off of the day, the worry of work, the worry of your family. Nobody wants anything from you at this moment, and nobody needs anything from you at this moment. Keep walking and keep ascending higher, and as we go higher, I want you just to look at the sun and look at the halo around the sun and bring that halo down towards you and imagine it circling around you like an orb. It protects you, it gives you vitality and energy. And as that happens, I'm just going to take these razor clams from the beach nearby and I'm just going to start cutting off that worry that we just talked about, cutting it away from you. The front, the back, the top and the bottom. Just lose those stresses for a little while. Nobody wants anything from you. Nobody needs anything from you. Okay, and we keep walking higher and higher. And there's a little bench halfway up that we can just sit on if your legs are aching. Breathe out and start to look the view. You can see out to sea. It is a sunny day and there are a million diamond sparkles on the sea. Breathe in from the earth you stand on and breathe out any physical aches and pains. Take a breath in from the clean air around you. Breathe out those anxiety and worries. Breathe in from the ocean that you see in front of you. Breathe out any sadness. And then breathe in from the sun above you and then breathe out the anger and frustration. And settle your breathing down now to its natural pattern. Let's start up again. So we're walking upwards and upwards and upwards, up a place called Ballard Down. And you could type this into your Google Maps and find it. We passed sea buckthorns, which are bent over, leaning towards the land as the sea and the wind pushes them into the shapes of little twisted, gnarled old ladies with hair twigs coming out. And we give a nod to them. At this time of year in the autumn, they have orange and red berries. And we keep walking up. The soil is a loamy red, similar to the wood panelling behind me. And through that we see chalks, lumps of chalk. And also possibly flint. And we are walking a well-trodden path, walked by thousands of people throughout the ages, up to Ballard Down and up towards Harry's Rocks. Last little upwards bit now as we come along to the top. Now we are on the top of the grassland. And we're going to start walking along this long stretch of what they would call downland. Feel the breeze just caressing your cheek and ruffling your hair. And you can see a buzzard whose feather this is, lazily circling on the thermals. But as you look to the edge of the white cliffs, you can see the kites flying level with us, and it looks so strange. They are hunting for the chicks and the eggs. But they fly level with us, giving us that feeling of loftiness. The feeling that you are able to hunt for what you need. We don't have to be as violent as nature and grab what we want, but just absorb their medicine and their far-sightedness, because they fly higher than we can and they can see the bigger picture, all of these birds of prey that fly so highly. But also you hear the chatter and the call of the seagulls. I'm just going to start clearing your chakras with these limpets that I picked up from the marina below those cliffs. As you look at those seagulls, they're very tenacious. They get what they want as well, but more than that, they make amazing parents. So if you are a parent or becoming a parent, absorb their medicine and their energy to help you. Many a time I have been dive-bombed by an angry parent whose chick has fallen off a roof or a tree. Even when I was putting the washing out in my garden, one of them had fallen off the house, and the parents guard it fiercely. And you can hear, as the red kite flies along the cliff, you can hear the angry shouts and calls of the parents, protecting what is theirs. And you can do that as well with any aspect of your life. Just clearing any of that grot, any of that stale and stagnant energy. I'm just going to get you now just to think where you've got pain in your body. And I'm just going to hold these over it, and I'm just going to imagine it cupping like we see in Chinese medicine. I'm just going to pull the limpets, stick fast on the rock, don't they? So we're just going to pull any of that ache out at the shoulders, particularly back of the neck. I'm going to just move down the body now to the hips. And pull. Okay. So as we look down, we can see the white cliffs, the pinnacles, white as white like this. Now this is menelite, and this is actually a fairy stone. Somebody pulled me up on here about my green calcite fairy stone. That's because the fairies wanted to be housed in this. This is actually a fairy stone from Africa, but it brings in the goddess energy, the divine feminine. And as we look around on our Mother Earth, as we're walking along this cliff, we're quite away from the edge, don't worry. You breathe in the divine feminine, but also we breathe in the divine masculine. and that'll meet somewhere in your body. It doesn't have to be half and half. One day you might be feeling more yang, more action, energy, and another day you might be more inward. Not everything has to be exactly masculine or feminine, especially now in our new age. So instead of thinking it as sexual, just think of it as energy. Do I feel more outward going today, more yang? Do I feel more introverted today, contemplative? Think of it like that. Okay. And now we're heading towards Harry's Rocks. We're nearly there. We've walked all the way along past the pinnacles. You see these little white cliffs that the elements have shaped, the water beating against it, the wind blowing the chalk particles off of it, the sun beating down on it, and the rain is one that and of course they are of the earth, but chalk is made up of little tiny snails and shells and skeletons. But it is all from Gaia, all from the earth. And we're just following this little path. But we're going to lie in the middle there, so we're just going to come off the path a little bit and move towards the middle where there's not so many people. And I want you now to open your bag and take out a rug that you've bought, or a towel, or even a plastic bag to sit on if it is wet. We're just going to sit here on this peninsula. Okay, breathing in and breathing out. And really relaxing your body now, checking for any tension and gently letting that tension go. Relax, relax. And behind you is the wild wood, the king's wood, I think they call it. And you can just feel that tree energy. And we are going to pull out an Owen. It's a nice noise, isn't it? That one is making itself known to my hand. And these have all been collected from the sacred sites along the south coast of England. So I have personally collected these from Stonehenge, from Avebury Circle. Some of them are from Purbeck around here as well, and the Wessex Woods. Also Wayland Smithy and Glastonbury Tor at the foot of it. So what have we got here? We have Thyme, we have the holly. So I'm just going to draw this right down your Tai Chi pole or your chakra line. Thyme, Thyme, Thyme. And you can just imagine these holly trees that shield all of the little birds and the wildlife. It's so windy up here, or it can be on this cliff that we're on. But if the birds and the adders and the smaller animals want shelter, they just need to fly into the holly trees behind us. And the thick, wide, prickly leaves will shelter them and shelter you from the ravages of the elements. Thyme, Thyme, Thyme. And of course at the moment we are in, according to pagan law and Druid and Wicca probably, we are in the time of the Holly King, Thyme, Thyme, Thyme. The Holly and the Oak King had their fight at the summer solstice and the Holly King won. And he stands proud now, guarding the second half of the year. And in 5 or 6 weeks, at the winter solstice, the Holly and the Oak King will fight again. And the Oak King will win. And then we will be in the Northern Hemisphere on a pathway back to the light. So if you are in the Southern Hemisphere as you watch this, you are in the time of the Oak King. But you can still gain protection from the Holly. And mostly we know that holly has a dark green leaf, but there is a variegated holly with two-tone leaves. The really dark green, but also the colour, the yellowish colour of this wood, and it's quite a whitish yellow wood, isn't it? It just depends where you are in the world. So lie down on the grass now and really feel and hear any insects and just start to laze. And this was a place that I once asked the ancients to show me something interesting. I always ask this when I go for a walk. And a very, how shall I say, caveman energy came. Big burly man, literally in animal skins. And he walked me a little off the path, a similar place to where we have come, very near here, a bit further back. And there was lots of chalk in rings. And I thought, oh, what is this? Good old Google Maps and iPhones had only just come out. So I pinpointed where I was and scrolled in, and lo and behold, I was standing in a labyrinth. So some pagan group had obviously come up here and put the labyrinth in. And I would come up and walk it in the early morning and in the evenings. But I want you now just to push your arms out onto the grass and you can feel a shell. There is a scallop, a whole scallop. And this has also been collected where I live. I go to the fishermen and ask them for them. But this is the shell of a pilgrim. There is a very famous place, Santiago Compostinola, I think it is said, my pronunciation, in northern Spain where the cathedrals are. And this is the symbol of the pilgrim. And you have come on a pilgrimage today, a pilgrimage to be rested, a pilgrimage to be a little bit healed, a pilgrimage for betterment. So finally we're just going to brush you down with these. Hold it. Seal in that healing, knowing that life is a pilgrimage. And it doesn't matter about the end result, it is the journey you take. that is important. Learning from that journey and knowing that two halves, even if they're a little bit unequal, that is curved and that is straight, they will meet somewhere within you, whether it is in the middle, whether it is to one side, just like I was saying with whether you feel more male or female today. It doesn't have to be exactly half and half. We're all different and we all have a different makeup. And these shells can also be used to fan energy out. We kind of have a sun here, don't we? The sun sending the rays out, very Art Deco. And I want you now to look southwards towards the sun as it arcs across the sky. And feel those rays vibrating towards you and warming you as you lie here. Breathing out, smelling the fragrance of the mountain thyme that you lie on, as well as the other herbs, the mugwort. We have the holly behind us, and we've also walked past the sea buckthorn. And I now just want you to move your arms like you're making a snow angel, but you're making a sun angel. And you can feel something else that's a little bit lumpy. And here we have some more shells. Two Atlantic slipper shells. And you're thinking, why are these shells up here? Well, this was sea at one point. There are many oyster shells that the rabbits kick out when they do that. But these are Atlantic slipper shells, and you've probably seen these if you live anywhere around the Atlantic. And these stand for community. The bottom one here will be a female, and this one would be a male, and there would be a chain of them all the way, sometimes about 10 of them. And when this one ends its life, this one would then become the female. So good for gender fluidity, which seems to have been a bit of a point today, doesn't it, in this meditation? I'm not sure what that's about, but if this is for you and you struggle with this healing is for you. And it is for you to wave your flag. And don't worry about the others. We'll all catch up. We'll all catch up eventually. But I want you to live your best life and look to your community. Seek out those people in your community, whether that be in your town, whether that be online, whether it be in spirit, your guides, your angels, your helpers. And know that nothing is set in stone. You can try things for a while and change back if it doesn't work for you. So I want you to pick that shell up as well. Pop that into your pocket with your pilgrimage shell, your pilgrim shell. Life is a journey and you are on that journey. Okay. So now I want you just to stand up and roll your little towel up or your bag. Put your thermos away. And as we do that, I'm just going to do a final clearing with the wooden pendulum. Clear. and it will clear anti-clockwise, I hope, in this video. But if not, that is my intention, and as we know, intention works. Breathe in and breathe out, feeling fully refreshed and fully invigorated. Even if this is at bedtime, have that energy in your storage system for tomorrow. And now we're just going to walk back the way that we have come. Feeling that bracing wind. Hearing the calls of the seagulls. Looking at the diamond sparkles along the sea. Reflecting the sun's energy. Knowing that with every step you take, you ground the healing in. I'm just going to place my hands upon your shoulders. I'm channeling that holly, that thyme, into you as we walk past the wild wood, the king's wood. And that is because many chieftains are buried along this whole stretch of the downs. The downland that you are walking on is also called Nine Barrow Down. And now we are back at the sea buckthorns, those little old ladies bending over with the wind, cackling and smiling at us, and perhaps even gossiping about us as we walk past. You're grounding in this healing and meditation with every step you take. And we're on the descent now, walking down and down and down, a little bit slowly because we have to walk at an angle, don't we, with our tiptoes first. And soon the ground levels out. And there's a little pile of stones that we're going to walk past. We didn't notice it on the way, but all of the stones are banded, and they are lucky stones. So just touch them and ask for luck as we walk past. And soon we are back at the farmhouse, and we walk past back to the car park where we all say our goodbyes, and we must meet up again and do another walk. And I thank you for joining, and I'll see you again next time. Love and light to you all, protection and comfort.